what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides. We have slowed down just a little bit, long enough from our crazy media travel schedule to be here at home base because we have special photos of a vehicle being unveiled at the Monterey Historics during the whole Pebble Beach week and all the other excitement going on. This is from Acura, and could it possibly be this is what's going to lead to an Acura Integra Type R? Let's go ahead, let's dive into these special photos and see what the heck is Acura doing. Are they going to bring a Type R to market? Let's go ahead and find out. And there it is. Look at that. Indy Pearl Yellow. Absolutely phenomenal color. I remember not too long ago, it was 2 years, 3 years ago, had the NSX in that Indy yellow pearl metallic paint, and it just looks fantastic on the lines of this Integra Type R HRC Special Edition. Now, what you're finding is this is going to be something that Acura is working towards to bring more levels of performance. Now, if you're hoping for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of more horsepower, you might be a little disappointed. But there are going to be goodies that are going to be coming down the pipeline from Acura and specifically from HRC, Honda Racing, to really pump up the Integra to bring it up to that Type R spec. So looking at the front end of the business here, what you're going to find is a totally different front fascia on that bottom portion. They've enlarged all of the brake cooling ducts to help flow more air, obviously, to keep the brake discs nice and cool. And then they've also increased airflow in the upper grille and the lower grille, because what you're going to find behind the lower grille is a larger intercooler. That's going to be one of those pieces of the puzzle that do bring more horsepower. When you have a turbocharged engine like in the Acura Integra, that change is going to bring more horsepower. On top of that, you're also going to find a tuned catback Borla exhaust system. This was something that we actually showed you in their Pikes Peak hill climb car, I think it was like last year at Long Beach, the Long Beach Grand Prix, having that exhaust going to be on this vehicle. Love that Honda Racing badge on the side. You know, it's one of those things that HRC has been around for decades, and it's nice to see that they kind of replaced HPD, which is Honda Performance Development, and just use HRC around the world. That's on MotoGP, that's on the sports car endurance racing, all of the different components of when it comes to racing and performance, it's HRC, and I really think that was a smart move. Now, looking at the wheels, you're looking at a 19 by 9.5 inch forged aluminum wheel. That's going to help cut down on unsprung weight. Also, the nice thing about unsprung weight is that it's going to help with steering sensitivity and quickness. Wheels look spectacular. I love that split spoke design, gloss black, and then peeking from behind are those bright Indy yellow 6-piston Brembo calipers. So instead of 4-piston that come on the Type S, this vehicle has the 6-piston Brembo. So larger caliper, more pistons to clamp down on the rotor. The rotor is 2-piece in diameter. It's a 15-inch diameter, 2-piece rotor. That's actually 1.4 inches wider diameter than your stock Integra Type S brake rotor. So you're getting quite a bit of braking capability, and of course you're going to have a 2-piece rotor, which also cuts down on the rotating mass and also when it comes to brake cooling as well. Now, looking at the interior, I love all of the color appointments on the interior, especially taking the Indy yellow inside. You have the yellow seat belts. Those are obviously worth an extra 5 horsepower. And then you'll notice how they brought the yellow trim around the AC vents. Still going to have, of course, that 6-speed manual transmission. Love the Alcantara on the steering wheel, nice thick rim steering wheel so that you can grip it whether you're doing it with your bare hands or if you're wearing a pair of racing gloves, doing a track day, doing an autocross event. The way that they were able to combine the yellow on the outside and bring it to the interior, I love. And those seats, carbon fiber bucket seats, look spectacular. Obviously meant to do the business, to hold you in place under hard lateral acceleration and braking. May not be the most comfortable. But the front, those lower corner air ducts are ginormous. Look at the way the lower corners kind of just drop down like a big old tongue. It's like to help scoop up all that air into those corner vents. And then, of course, making the top grille even larger with the amount of airflow that comes through there. And that's one of the things, right? It's like if you're going to do a track day, if you're going to go do an autocross event, or even aggressively, churn through those twisty bits like a hot knife through butter, you want to have the cooling. You don't want to have things reaching those temperatures and going overboard. The nice thing is I really think they thought it through very well when it comes to the aesthetics. Out back, you're going to have an adjustable carbon fiber rear wing. And it's crazy because like I mentioned about the Borla exhaust, the Borla catback exhaust with those carbon fiber tips, everything that you're seeing in this vehicle seems like it was plucked right from their Pikes Peak Hill Climb car, and also that are plucked, they're things that are plucked from the Honda Civic Type R that races in the Michelin Challenge touring class, the touring car class, against the Hyundai Elantra Ns and some of the other brands. It looks identical to what they run on that vehicle. Now, if you're noticing, there's not a lot of gap between the top of the fender and the tire. That's because this has coilover suspension that's been lowered about 15 millimeters. You have adjustable anti-roll bars. So this is something that bringing not only aerodynamic performance, you got the intercooler, you got the exhaust, we're also talking about adjustability of the suspension. That's one of the things, like when I used to race cars, having a formula car is infinitely more adjustable than a tin top car like this Acura Integra. So what they're trying to do is they're giving you adjustable rear anti-roll bars, they're giving you adjustable front and rear camber plates. So what that allows you to do, the camber plates allow you to have a lot more adjustability when taking the tires and having them come out, camber or caster. So because you don't want the tires straight up and down when you're at the racetrack. You want to be able to have that adjustability, and that's what is bringing this to another level, is that adjustability. You're also going to have those sticky Pirelli Trofeo R tires. Very, very sticky tire. I have experience with them when we did the Dark Horse media drive at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Super sticky tire. Love the Recaro seats, especially with the Alcantara padding, the yellow stitching, the carbon fiber, and that HRC badge on the headrest portion. Nice embroidery. But they're also making sure to keep things cool underneath the hood. And what I mean by cool is not just the airflow. What you're also going to find is that you have twin oil coolers. Very, very important, especially when you're running the track. And we have, of course, the air oil separators. So on a turbocharged engine, a lot of car companies do not put that on their vehicles. A lot of times you have to go to an aftermarket. Here's where HRC is going to have it for you on that engine. And what that does is it basically stops the problem of oil issues taking place when you're at the track and everything's sloshing around and you're going on throttle and off throttle. The other thing I like is in the back, the removal of the rear seats. And then you're going to have that beefy X brace that ties in the rear of the vehicle. So a lot of times we talk about strut braces up top in the front of the vehicle that go from one shock top mount to the other. This ties in not only the shock tops, but also then brings it down into the lower portion of the rear to really give you a nice rigid setup so that when you're at the track, those adjustments, you're going to be able to feel them and experience changes. The back of the car, I mean, it already looked great with the flared fender look, but look at how much more the fenders are flared, like the way they did the end caps, the end plates on the rear wing in the yellow, the Indy yellow, and having the adjustability is also going to be a big, huge benefit because obviously, depending on what type of track that you're on, you may need more downforce or less downforce. A track like Daytona is very tricky because you have the infield portion of the road course, which is a large portion of the track, but then you also have a lot of the speedway banking, which is also a large portion of the track. So being able to have adjustability is going to help in situations like that. And just the fact that, like I said, the carbon fiber that they're using, they're not just using gloss black, regular plastic. We're talking about carbon fiber pieces. Look at the heat extractor on the hood. I mean, it looked good before. This looks spectacular. And I'm going to say it again. Taken right off that car, that Catherine leg ran up the mountain, Pikes Peak International Hill Climb, ran up the mountain. It looks like the same car, just pretty much painted a different color, to be honest with you. So it's nice to see Acura really looking at that performance edge of things. You know, pricing, no pricing available yet, but if they do an Integra Type R, especially anywhere near this level, I'm thinking you're probably looking around $63,000, maybe even more. And if your jaw just dropped, I mean, think about Subaru. They did the S209 back in 2020. Technically, it was a 2019, but it got released into 2020. That vehicle was $63,000. So why would this one not be at least $63,000, maybe even more? But vehicles like these are designed for the hardcore enthusiasts and the fans. You know, somebody who goes out and gets a Z06 Corvette, C8 Z06, is not going to give a damn about this car. But that's not the purpose. The purpose of this car is for somebody who is into Integras, who remembers the Type R Integra from the 90s and wants to take the Integra to the next level. This is a complete package from stem to stern, and the fact that the 6-speed manual transmission, the 2-liter turbocharged inline 4, if you have the skill and you drive this car on the track, you're going to be able to outperform many more powerful cars because of how this thing is developed. So that's what you're paying for. You're paying for not just an HRC nameplate, not a Type R badge or something like that. You're paying for all of the work that has been done to make this package what it is. If you went and bought a car and wanted to turn it into a, say, a time attack car, it's going to take thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars to develop all of the different aero, the suspension, the wheels, the engine, the whole 9 yards, even the interior. It's going to take a lot of money to make that time attack car do what you want it to do. They don't just do it by itself. So this is something that would be turnkey, ready to rock and roll as soon as you roll it into a racetrack or whatever. So like I said, very interesting to see Acura go in this direction. Let me know what you think. Would you be proud to call this an Acura Integra Type R, and would you be willing to spend the price tag? Because you know it's not going to be cheap, but what really is today anymore, that's worthwhile. Let me know in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raiti's Rise family. Got to give it up to Lori Raiti, working that camera like a champ. And guess what? We got to give it to Oscar because he is taking a nap in the Papazon, and he's nicely rolled perfectly into what we like to call him a cinnamon roll. So he's doing a good job napping. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.